Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and my law firm assists nurse practitioners with employment contract issues. Today I'm going to talk about is it better to be a W-2 or a 1099 as a nurse practitioner. So first, if you are a W-2, you are an employee, and then you will be have taxes withheld from your regularly scheduled payroll. And then at the end of the year, you'll get a W-2, just kind of summarizing all the taxes that were withheld. If you are a 1099, you are an independent contractor, and then you will receive the 1099 at the end of the year, and no taxes will be withheld from your compensation at all. So you will be responsible to pay those taxes either quarterly or annually, depending upon what you want to do. That's the main distinction between the two. Now, the benefits of being a W-2 as an employee are you get all of the great ancillary benefits of being an employee. So for most organizations, they're going to offer you health, vision, dental, disability, life, retirement. They're going to pay for your continuing education, licensing board cert, any kind of privileging, credentialing. You'll get paid time off. Whereas as a 1099 independent contractor, you're not going to get any of those things. You are going to be responsible for paying all of that, including malpractice insurance, and if you have a claims made policy, tail insurance as well. Now, just because you're working as a independent contractor, 1099, it doesn't mean you can't deduct all of those business expenses, but you need to set up your kind of corporate structure in the correct way. So you should create an LLC, get an EIN, create a bank account, and then funnel all the compensation and expenses through that account so that you can keep track. And then at the end of the year, you can deduct all those as business expenses. So licensing, malpractice, health insurance, vehicle expenses, kind of all of the things that would go into being a nurse practitioner for an organization, you can deduct if you're an independent contractor. Now, which one is better? It just depends. I mean, theoretically, you should make more as an independent contractor because the employer is not paying for any of your benefits, any of your malpractice. They're not paying employment tax. If you're an employee, an employer has to pay employment tax. It's usually somewhere between 10 to 12%. So they're probably saving around 15 to 20% by not giving you any of those benefits, not having to pay employment tax. So at least some of that should pass through to the nurse practitioner, meaning if you're going to make the exact same amount as an employee versus an independent contractor, probably makes sense to be the employee. Now, many nurse practitioners simply don't want to deal with the hassles of finding all of those things. They don't want to find their own malpractice. They don't want to get health insurance, dental, vision, retirement, life, disability, all that kind of stuff set up. They don't want to deal with it. And in that scenario, you're going to have to find an employment opportunity. Now, the most likely opportunities you'll have to be an independent contractor will be kind of short-term, part-time stuff, or maybe you're just going to work for a practice, 2 weekends a month or something like it, just for half a Saturday. Well, in that scenario, it doesn't really make sense for you to be an employee or for them to offer you all those benefits. And that would be kind of a normal role to be classified as an independent contractor. Whereas if you're working, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and the employer is asking you to be an independent contractor, they're likely misclassifying you. The IRS lists a 20-factor test that kind of goes through, all right, these are the things that can make you an employee. These are the things that can make you an independent contractor. If you're concerned that you might be being, misclassified in some way, I would go through that test and then approach the employer with those concerns prior to signing an independent contractor agreement or an employment agreement. After the fact, although it's very rare, the IRS could come back, look at your kind of employment relationship, and then state, oh, you've been misclassified, and then all of these back taxes will be owed, usually by the employer. I have seen in some employment agreements or independent contractor agreements that the employer basically states if it's found that you were misclassified, and the employer has to either pay a penalty or fight it in court or whatever, that the nurse practitioner will be responsible for those things in addition to attorney's fees. that's an unconscionable clause. I would never sign that. So just be careful about that when looking at an independent contractor agreement or an employment agreement as well. So anyway, that's kind of the differences between the two and maybe why one might work for you over the other. I mean, the vast majority of the time, an NP is going to be an employee. It's very rare, unless, as I said before, it's kind of like a very part-time position that you would, it would make sense to be an independent contractor. I would suggest talking to an accountant before doing any of this. I'm not a tax attorney, so I'm just kind of giving you my side as, on the employment and contract side, but meeting with an accountant who can kind of set up these things for you and give you the best advice on maximizing your tax deductions makes the most sense. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions about your employment agreement or independent contractor agreement, please feel free to call my firm at the phone number listed below in the description. You can reach us through our website, chellelaw.com, or you could, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel as we release videos every single day. Anyway, I appreciate you watching the video and take care.